You have to understand something deep, something most people never will. Power doesn't wait for permission. It's not about being the best on paper. It's about believing you are the best before anyone else even considers it. That belief, it's the foundation of dominance. The world doesn't recognize quiet talent. It responds to energy, to presence, to certainty. You don't rise by waiting your turn. You rise by deciding, with every fiber of your being, that you've already arrived. People are too busy waiting for external validation, looking around for signs that it's their time. That's weakness, that's submission. You don't ask the world to see your greatness. You show up like it's a fact. Confidence isn't given, it's built in the dark, carved out through repetition, through sacrifice, through relentless confrontation with who you are and who you refuse to remain. When you wake up and say to yourself, "I'm the best," it's not arrogance. It's alignment. You're aligning your actions, your focus, your mind with the identity of a champion. That's the only way power respects you, when it sees that you've already claimed it internally. Most people will never reach their potential because they wait for permission to start acting like they're dangerous, like they're powerful, like they're worth something. That's the trap. That's the lie we're sold, to be humble before you've even become something. Humility without strength is just insecurity dressed up to look pretty. When you move through the world like you're the best, the world adjusts. People treat you based on how you treat yourself. You come in with your shoulders back, your eyes locked, your intention clear. People respond. They feel it. They react to your internal gravity. That's how leaders are born. Not chosen, born through the sheer force of self-belief. In a world driven by perception, reality is a luxury. What people think about you matters more than what's actually true. That's the brutal truth Machiavelli understood before most people even knew how power worked. You don't need to be invincible. You just need to look like you are. Appear strong when you're tired. Look composed when your world is falling apart. That's control. That's strategy. The people around you don't follow the strongest. They follow the one who looks like he's already won. Most people walk around wearing their doubt on their face. You can smell their insecurity before they speak. That's weakness. That's a signal to the world that you're prey. You have to kill that. You have to walk through fire with a straight spine and dead eyes, like the pain doesn't matter. Because the second people sense fear, they stop respecting you. You can't let them see you break. You can't let them see you hesitate. When the pressure hits, you don't flinch. You lock in even harder. Your image isn't some ego game. It's a weapon. It's armor. If you don't control it, someone else will. If you look uncertain, the world will bury you. That's why you act the part. You project confidence, even when you're doubting every move. You speak with clarity, even if your voice is shaking inside. Why? Because perception creates momentum. You only need to look like a winner long enough for reality to catch up. This doesn't mean lying to people. It means showing the version of you that leads, that conquers, that doesn't break. It means understanding that most people make decisions emotionally, not logically. They follow power, not virtue. If you control how you're seen, you control how people respond. And if you can influence their reactions, you've already won half the battle without throwing a punch. The ones who rise aren't just acting like they're the best. They're grinding like it when nobody's watching. While the rest of the world is asleep, chasing comfort, chasing balance, chasing approval, the real ones are buried in the grind. No noise, no applause, no audience, just discipline, just pain, just progress. People think being the best is about talent or luck. It's not. It's about who's willing to suffer longer, harder, and in silence. You don't broadcast your hustle. You build in the dark and let the results speak a language nobody can ignore. There's a kind of power that comes from doing the work when it's boring, when it's thankless, when there's no spotlight. That's the difference between pretending and becoming. Everyone can talk about being great, but very few are willing to live it when there's no recognition, when it's just you, your demons, and the next rep. That's where separation happens. That's where the best are made, not in moments of glory, but in the long stretches of solitude where quitting whispers in your ear and you respond by grinding harder. You have to outwork them not just physically, but mentally. You have to sharpen your edge every single day. When others take breaks, you push further. When they relax, you tighten your grip, because you understand that greatness isn't some explosion of effort. It's the compounding of brutal, repetitive discipline. There's nothing glamorous about it, no shortcuts, no life hacks, just blood, sweat, and a refusal to be average. Outworking everyone doesn't mean making noise. It means making progress they can't see until it's too late. You're not posting about it. You're not talking about it. You're building something that can't be denied when it finally surfaces. That's how you take control. That's how you dominate. Not through announcements, but through the relentless, quiet war you wage behind the scenes every single day. Doubt is a cancer. It starts small, creeping into your thoughts when you're tired, when you're beat down, when things don't go your way. You give it space and it spreads. You let it live and it takes over everything. It's not loud. It whispers, it waits. And then one day you look in the mirror and you don't see a fighter. You see hesitation, second guessing, softness. You see the version of yourself that you swore you'd never become. That's why you kill it before it speaks. You don't negotiate with it. You don't rationalize. You hunt it, corner it, and crush it before it grows legs. Doubt isn't something that just shows up once. It's daily. It's relentless. Every time you level up, it finds new ways to test you, new disguises. It'll come as fear, as logic, as excuses dressed up as strategy. It'll convince you to rest when you should be pushing. It'll tell you you're not ready, not good enough, not the one. That voice is a liar, and if you don't learn to silence it with action, it will own you. People lose not because they lack talent, but because they let that doubt take root. They hesitate, and hesitation is death. In the time it takes you to think about it, someone else already moved, already decided, already claimed what you wanted. You don't get time back. You don't get second chances at this level. That's why you attack. You move forward with force, with purpose, with zero hesitation. Even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, you act. Because action kills doubt. Momentum kills fear. The mind only respects movement. There is no room for maybe. No room for soft steps. You either move like you believe, or you sit down with the rest of the average. The second you allow doubt to dictate your pace, your decisions, or your identity, you've already surrendered ground. You fight that every day. You keep your blade sharp. You protect your mind like a fortress, because once doubt gets in, it doesn't just slow you down. It rewires everything you thought you were. Feelings are traps. Emotions will lie to you. One day you feel unstoppable, the next you feel worthless. If you let that roller coaster dictate your actions, you're already lost. Power doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't reward the sensitive, the hesitant, the ones who wait to feel ready. It rewards execution. Cold, calculated, ruthless execution. The kind that doesn't wait for the stars to align. The kind that doesn't pause for fear or fatigue. The kind that moves forward whether it's raining, burning, or breaking. Most people live their lives as prisoners to their emotions. They wake up and decide what kind of day it is based on how they feel, not what needs to be done. That's weakness. That's a mind that's lost control. A powerful mind doesn't operate on emotion. It operates on command. It does what's necessary, not what's comfortable. You don't feel like doing the work. Too bad. You do it anyway. You don't feel like leading. You show up and lead anyway. Because the mission is bigger than your mood, you have to detach. Strip out the softness. Strip out the stories. There's no room for drama in war. There's no room for whining in domination. You think a champion always feels motivated? You think a conqueror always feels confident? No, they just learn to act without emotion. They learn to execute no matter what. And that discipline, that control, becomes their edge. You stay cold because emotion clouds decisions. You stay sharp because hesitation is born from feeling. And you show up like a machine, not because you're heartless, but because you refuse to let your feelings sabotage your future. You're not here to be understood. You're not here to be liked. You're here to win. And winning demands a level of detachment. Most people will never reach. You become dangerous when your actions are no longer tied to emotion. You become unstoppable when you do what needs to be done regardless of how broken, tired, or unmotivated you are. That's power, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that finishes what it starts every time without excuse.